Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. So, I kind of like this angle. What do y'all think? Like, it's cool. We have my chair literally on the floor. But you can see a lot more of my collection from here. I won't do every like action figure video from down here, but it's a good angle. And the lighting for some reason from this angle is like real favorable to me. So yeah. And plus, if my dog chooses to he's right behind me. Can you see him? Pookums. There he is. Well, there's his butt. But we just went for a walk, so he is not feeling particularly social at the moment. But yeah, he's back there with his back turned to me, with his whole booty sticking at me, because he is super tired. But we went for like a 2-mile walk before I sat down to do a little bit of filming, because I have some time this afternoon. So I figured I would do that. So if I look real similar in the next video, she films when she has time, because homegirl has a job. So I've talked about my Funko wall back there. I'm not a Funko collector. Well, okay, that would be a lie. I do collect them, but I don't collect them for the sake of Funko. I collect them because there are series out there that I would never want the actual figures for. Like, I want my Transformers, I want my Sailor Moon, my Rurouni Kenshin, if you can see it. I'm really loving Chainsaw Man and Spy Family. Those are two of my recent favorites that are on my list of must-have the figures. I was really a huge Fruits Baskets fan when I was growing up, so I got a lot of Fruits Basket stuff, Star Wars stuff like that. If it doesn't fall into like a category of I want those figures, that's when I get Funko Pops. Although, for what I'm unboxing and opening up today, that might not be true. I think I actually want figures from this particular series. I've got a box, and this box is from the Funko Pops. Was that upside down? Boom. Now you can read it. So I got me a Funko box. Like, there's some series I wish that when I figured out I really liked them, I had gotten the Funkos for. Like up there, like I like Black Panther a lot, but a lot of Black Panther figures are like, there's one Shuri that I have, like she's just hanging out over there somewhere. She's out of the box, just chilling. They aren't like super high quality. The ones that are though, you like this one here, that's a General Okoye. You can't see her. So I have a decision to make. But those, I can see them, but a lot of them weren't super high quality, but the Funkos were great. I have every version of like Queen Ramonda. I have like General Queen Ramonda, Ramonda in Mourning, like all of them. I have like, I don't know, 10 different T'Challas at this point. I've got like right here, there is the original Black Panther one, and there's Shuri as Black Panther right next to him. She's Itzy. But I have all of those. But like there's like I've got a couple of Hello Kitty ones. I've got a Deadpool that I got at Universal a couple of years ago. I got some Star Wars stuff here. Like I think that's Voldemort right there. Yeah, that's Voldemort. So just random ones from series. Like I've got Daria back there. I've got Daria and Jane. They did a Wednesday one, but they didn't release like Enid. Like I saw they've got Wednesday, but not Enid. How do you not have Enid yet? But I wish I was more into them like 10 years ago. Because there have been a couple of series where I never like wanted like the action figures, but I would like to have something from them. And like Adventure Time is one of those. Like right here, you see I've got that's a little bitty wall scroll, but it's like the My Friend Totoro, where Totoro is standing at the bus stop and the little girls are next to him in the leaf umbrella. It's that, but it's Finn and Jake and BMO. And that's like one of the best things ever. Like, so I wish I had realized I liked Funkos, because these are like real polarizing. People either love them or hate them. But I wish I realized I liked them when Adventure Time was hugely popular, because I would love to have a set of those from the series. Not all of them. I wouldn't want every single character, because oh my god, there's a lot of characters. However, I did always like the Fiona and Cake, the gender bent, in Ice King's Mind, that they did. So hopefully with Fiona and Cake being out, there might be an opportunity to get a new set of Funkos for Adventure Time, which I did. I always liked that better. So, well, I like that that story arc, I guess. Because if you ever watch Adventure Time, like within the series, there are multiple individual story arcs that still connect to the story as a whole, which is one of the cool things about it. Like, can't believe like that show was made for kids. Like, if you've ever watched it, it's like, we sure? We sure this is for children? We sure this shouldn't be on Adult Swim? Like, Gravity Falls was that way too. Really enjoyed Gravity Falls. Didn't enjoy it enough to want figures or even Funkos from it, but it's another one of those. It's like, this for kids? Okay. That's a choice. But yeah, that's my Funko collection. Like, in my office there, the chair that I sit on to film, which is where my camera is sitting right now. This is also like when my stepdaughter visits from college, we fold this chair out, put an air mattress on it, and it's where she sleeps. But she hates Funkos, like hates them. Hey girl, hey. She's and plus a lot of people, just when it comes to this many figures, some people get weirded out by like little plastic eyeballs looking at them. Like when I used to have family come visit at my old house before I moved, before I get married, like I had like, there's action figures in every room, which kind of in this house there are too, let's be real. But like, you know, in the guest quarters and stuff, like everywhere there was like, it's my house, it's everywhere. And they're like, how do you sleep with so many eyes looking at you? I'm like, they're not real. Like, do you think they're real? Do you think we got like a talking Tina situation going on here? Because that's not what's happening. So it's always interesting to see how people react to the to this going on. But all that to say is I don't get Funkos for everything, but once in a while, there's something that I'm just like, I want a complete set of for that, and this is the easiest way to get it. And the least expensive when they first come out. Because once they come out and everybody wants it, I'm looking at you, Princess Bubblegum, it goes from being $12 to $300 because resale market is real. So let's take a little look-see in our little box here. Let's take a look. So I love a delivery. So you know what I need? I brought it down here with me. My little multi-tool that makes an appearance in every single action figure video. So, open. I'm so happy. So, you read the title of the video. You know what we got in here. You know what's in here. Everybody sing it with me now. Say it with me now. Lower decks, lower decks, lower decks, lower decks. I love that show. So, this is packaged really well. Just like that Christmas morning wrapping. Okay, so it looks like you put two in a box. Yeah. So, let's pop these open and see what we got. I'm going to open it towards y'all because it looks like it like dead up opens. I don't know which two are in here. So, let's see who we get first. It is Bradward. Yay! Bradward and Rutherford first, and my hair is stuck to the box. So check it out. That's a lot of packaging, but I appreciate it because my little Funkos are safe. So we have Bradward Boimler first. He looks great. Yeah, reflection is real. But yeah, oh, I love it. Did y'all see the live action episode of Strange New Worlds where they did the crossover between Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds? And then they mention it in Lower Decks. So, like, backing up a little bit, if you've not watched this particular show, this is one of my current favorites. And when you first watch it, like, you might have the same reaction I do if you're a Rick and Morty fan, or if you've watched Solar Opposites, you're going to be like, this feels real familiar, because it is. Some of the creative minds behind one are involved in the other. A lot of these, like, animators, illustrators, and the rest, industry friends, they do each other favors, they work on each other's stuff, or like an artist from one will get their own series, and like Gravity Falls and Rick and Morty, the reason they were able to do Easter eggs for one another is because the creators of those shows are besties. So, when that happens, or like when somebody from a creative team goes and makes another show, it can feel very familiar, which I think is kind of handy because you borderline have a built-in audience. Like, I wasn't into Star Trek for a long time. I grew up watching The Next Generation. I did watch the original series with my dad growing up, and I liked it. It was perfectly fine. I was 8. I didn't know it was cheesy. It was great to me. It's got that great nostalgia appeal. And the first couple of movies, always really liked those. fun, but I think a couple of the Next Generation movies I did liked the Borg movie they did. What was that one called? Nemesis or something? Oh, it was that memorable. And then I did like the one where they had William Shatner come in. I think that was called Star Trek Generations, which I guess spoiler for a 30-year-old movie, but or 20. When did that come out? I can't remember. But I think I was still a teenager when that came out, so it had to be about 25ish years ago. But there's like this ribbon in space that like swallows people up, and you get to like live in a fantasy. It's called the Nexus. Whoopi Goldberg's in there, Guinan it up, Guinan. What a name. And then like Picard and Kirk are in the same movie for like 5 whole minutes. Like it is great. And then like Kirk officially like gets it, so there's no more Kirk in any of these movies. Until they reboot it with the new ones. But yeah, all that to say, like, that was the Star Trek that I grew up with. And I haven't really much been interested in it. I tried to watch Deep Space Nine. It's cool. Cisco's cool. I tried to watch Voyager. It's okay. And it wasn't, I'm not calling it bad. It just wasn't, it didn't stick with me. Like, if it was on TV and I had nothing else to watch, I'll watch it. If there were other things to watch, I would watch those. It was never my first choice in entertainment media. So I haven't really been a Star Trek person for a long time. And a friend of my husband's, when we were visiting in Atlanta, I don't even want to say it was shortly after our engagement. It was before we were married. So like a year ago. We were down there visiting, and he mentioned that we would really like Lower Decks. And I was just like, the heck you say? I was like, yeah, it's like a Star Trek cartoon. Like, how does that work? Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. But then finally, like after getting married and settling in and all that kind of stuff, we needed a 20-minute watch show before going to bed, because you cuddle, you watch a movie or TV or something. So we're like, you know what, let's try Lower Decks. Let's see if we like it. We had just wrapped up the first season of Only Murders in the Building. We'd started watching Ted Lasso, but there's like too much crying in Ted Lasso, so that we can't be watching that going to bed. It's too sad. So we tried Lower Decks. And I was hooked from the word go. I was just like, what the Rick and Morty is the Star Trek? Like, it was so great. Like, I love the way the characters were written. I love the humor of the show. I love how they connect it back to the rest of the bigger Star Trek universe. The Easter eggs they drop, but like the practical ways that you have these recognizable figures of the lore in there, but it's still their own universe. So just mad respect. All of that to bring back to remember the episode where they did the crossover. So when they crossed these over with the other shows, so after we started watching Lower Decks, we then started watching Strange New Worlds, which is the Captain Pike saga. Also amazing, like really good, very well done. Like, the people doing Star Wars need to go talk to the Star Trek people. Because part of, like, I like Star Wars. Like, I would say that I like Star Wars more than Star Trek. However, when it comes to the television shows, the production quality, like, I don't like to give there's so many critics out there who have opinions, and it can sway whether or not you like something. And I don't really like that. Like, I used to be real into movie reviews and stuff. And I had to stop watching them because they were making me not like movies and TV shows and stuff. Like, we all like what we like, and it is okay to like it. Like, no judgment here. This is coming from the perspective of someone who, theater and English major. I know what all the behind the scenes is. I've got an industry background to an extent. I never got famous or anything. But I know how it all's supposed to work. And when it comes to like that suspension of disbelief and that production quality, what they did with Generations, to me, is superior to what they do with the Star Trek shows. Like, Star Wars, sorry. When I start watching the Star Wars shows, they are so just, what's the word? Cheap looking. Like, they're silly, and sci-fi and fantasy and any of that, you already have to like go out here in your brain to watch it and like it all be cool. But like a good example of like a really good high production, high quality, everybody was all in on it, fantasy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Like you were with it in Lord of the Rings. Like you were with Frodo. You were with Sam. I mean, Sam was the bestestest of hobbits. Okay? Like you felt it when Gandalf fell from the bridge. Like you were, and they were dragging them hobbits out of there. Like you just, like, the reason that those came out so well was the vision that Peter Jackson had and the investment that was made. I mean, granted, they got their money back, so, but like Hobbiton feels real because it was. They built it. They germinated the site for like a year and a half so that when you have the camera rise and you see the whole valley and all the green and the flowers and the this and the that, it's just like, oh, wow, I'm in it. I'm with it. And then where the Hobbit series failed, story arcs and all that aside, was it was so overly reliant on CGI that even Ian McKellen said that he had days that he was breaking down on set because he wasn't acting to anything. He wasn't with anyone. Like, they were actually out there crawling on mountains in New Zealand and Australia when they were filming the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They did mostly green screening for the Hobbit series. And so it takes you out of the story, because it doesn't feel like there's any stake. Granted, it's a movie. We know there's no stakes. But part of storytelling is the immersion, and if you can't be fully immersed, you can't get into the story, whether it's a book, which I have sitting right here. My phone is sitting on top of some books right now. Whether it's a book or a cartoon, a television show, live action, even CGI. CGI can be done well enough to where it takes you out and puts you into the fantasy. I would say that motorsports games are a good example of that. Like you play your Forzas and that type of thing. I mean, people are in it like they are driving them cars. They're the Gran Turismos and all that, because CGI with the cars and the metals and the roads, like it's there. But when it comes to like the human interactions, it's not quite there. When it comes to organic interaction, unless everything is completely CGI, like in the first Avatar movie, because that one, you were in it. You knew it wasn't real, but dadgum, they did such a good job. Like, you were just in it. And the Star Wars TV shows don't really do that. But the newer Star Trek stuff is. And I think where Lower Decks really lands so well, especially for me, is when it's animated. And I obviously have a thing for animation, but the characters are so well written. Like any show, you got to give it like that 5-episode test. Like, get through the first few episodes. Like, I got my husband watching Rick and Morty now. He had never watched it. He binged like season 7 with me, but he had never watched it. He didn't know what was going on. So we're going back and watching it, which is fine with me. I love it. But the first few episodes are nonsensical. And then all of a sudden it starts making sense. And then you get to that episode where they change universes, because they Cronenberg the world up. So now they got to go to a new family. And that's kind of when the show really kicks off. And now it's like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. And you give Lower Decks that first few episodes where they're establishing the characters. And it's like, wow, this is an amazing show. And we screamed through those first 4 seasons. And I've barely shown you the figures because I got excited about talking. Anyway, this is Bradward Boimler. Love him. He's not, honestly, he is not unlike my husband. Like, can you guess which character is me? But very just a hardworking, earnest person. I do love the character arc that he goes through when you get to season 4. Because he just goes from this rule following, shy, can't do anything incorrect, to like being worthy of promotion, saving lives, and just like a whole badass on his own without having to rely on his best friend Beckett Mariner. So like, I kind of love it. One of the things I do love about Funko Pop is the way that they design. Like this is the same face everybody has, but they've created a face base. Is that a word? A face base? Not a faith base. A face base. Like a template. That's the word. They've created a template that can be anything. Because this face shape is the same. There's very little variation on it. But with the right eyebrows, the right color eyes, the hair, the costume, you see your character. Like, hats off to y'all, Funko people. But then we have Rutherford, which he's got a really interesting. I can't spoil anything in this because if you've not watched it, it's on Paramount. Go watch it all. It's so great. But Rutherford's another really cool character. Like, he's got this like cyborg thing implant on him, and he goes through an interesting arc as well, which kind of wraps up in season 3. Yeah, it's in season 3 that it wraps up. But it's like you find out like why does he have this implant? Because he actually doesn't even remember why when we first meet him, but he's very he's jolly. Like he's almost good natured to the point of like, are you faking this? Like nobody's this nice. But he's like the big brother guy that every girl wishes they had, like that guy who was a platonic friend who was never going to hit on you but was going to be there to protect you. Like he's that guy. And he's a brilliant engineer as well. He's young, he's ready to go and to do it. So that's trash. I can't throw it behind me because my dog is back there and I do not want to hit the dog with trash. Oh, and I never said it. The reason the show's called Lower Decks is these characters live on the lower decks of the ships because they are ensigns. So the ensigns don't get their own rooms. They do all the grunt work of the ship. I mean, it's like being a private in the army, basically. Even though Starfleet's not an army. They have weapons on their ships, but they're not an army. But they band together because they're starting their careers in Starfleet together. So those were the boys. So I'm going to assume in here are the ladies. So this is the most exciting. Please don't be upside down when I open this and embarrass me. It's not. Oh, Tendy's upside down, but Beckett Mariner is not. So this is Devana Tendy. I love her as well. She's an Orion. It's so funny because she is descended from pirates. So the Orions are basically a race of space pirates. And they out there be pirating. And she comes from like this basically ruling class of pirates. You don't find that out until later on in the series. But she's somebody. Like she ain't a nobody. She is somebody. But she hiding out in Starfleet because she wants to be a doctor. She wants to study medicine and science and that type of thing. And her and Rutherford end up being besties together. We all know they're going to fall in love, but they're besties, and it's the cutest relationship because they both get excited dorking out together. And again, that's another one of the great things about the writing on the show. Because me and my husband watching it, like the way these two act with each other, dorking out over just random things only they would dork out together. That's how we are. And that's how you know you found your nerd. Like when you can randomly dork out over dumb stuff together, that's your nerd. That is your nerd at that point. But they are so stinking cute. Look, they've even got her holding her little data slate. And on the back here, you can see all of them. They've got from, Beckett and Boimler and Rutherford and Tendy. Badgie's on there as well. Badgie is this AI program that Rutherford creates. It's a whole thing. And he goes rogue. I wasn't excited to get him. That wasn't one of the ones I wanted. But Tendy is great. There is an episode where we get to meet her parents, and her mom is introduced because she's a whole tough gal, and her mom's introduced, and she's like head tough gal. She's like, and I can't remember the exact title, so don't come for me in the comments or do because algorithm. But they introduce the mom, and this is blah blah blah, the mistress of the northern wind, blah blah blah, and then her husband's introduced, and this is her husband Bert. It's so adorable. So we're thinking we might actually do an Orion cosplay together where I'm like Tendy's mom and my husband is Bart. It'll be really cute. So I'm loving it. Again, see, look, the faces are like her face is slightly smaller, but still the same basic shape. All the Orions are green. That's how you know they're Orions. And I really love what they do with them because the Orions have a reputation. There are not a lot of Orions in Starfleet. We only encounter a couple so far in the show. Season 5 doesn't come out till later this year. But I'm gonna be there when it comes out, and I'm gonna binge it unless they do that one episode at a time thing. And I ain't paying for streaming for one episode at a time. I'd like to watch them all today. Thank you. If you have them, release them. That's why you got my $8.99 every month. Anywho, but yeah, so there's not a lot of Orions, but the Orions are kind of a stand-in for a lot of, I guess, social commentary when it comes to things like skin color and gender and stuff, because one, they're green, and two, they're pirates, and they have a reputation that precedes them, but she's out there breaking all the stereotypes. So she's like a model citizen, but she's also learning about how to still be proud of the culture she comes from, and embrace what she wants to do with her life, but also the whole breaking away from one's parents, and not having to follow tradition so that you can do something that you really want, and then, be around and with people you really want to. So her character art is really interesting as well. But then there's my favorite. And y'all know why. Because she's not fictitious. Beckett Mariner is not a cartoon. Beckett Mariner is me. Everything about this character is me. Like, look at those. She's me. I have her costume, by the way. Yes, I do. Yes, I 100% diddly do. So Beckett Mariner has a really interesting. If you've not watched the show, like, she is, which I figured it out like in the first episode. I was like, is that her mom? But she is, so I guess minor spoiler warning if you've not watched any of the show, but she is the daughter of the captain of the ship that they're on. And her father is an admiral in Starfleet. So she's basically Starfleet royalty. Like, she should be something amazing in Starfleet based on her breeding, basically. Like, you the daughter of greatness, why aren't you great? And her whole thing is she's been intentionally getting herself demoted and kicked off other ships because of something that's happened in the past. When you first meet her, you don't know what it is. We actually don't find out what it is until like in season 4. But she is just out there being a jerk, basically. Like, she's amazing. Like, she can fight. She's smart. She's a natural born leader. She cares about her friends. She'll do whatever it takes to do the right thing and break all the rules while doing it. But she will break all the rules while doing it. And that's like the exasperation of her parents and everyone around her. Like, they can see that she has this greatness in her, but she won't behave. And she's intentionally getting knocked down. So eventually her mom decides to have someone mentor her who is not going to let her get herself demoted or kicked off a ship, who's going to basically whip her into shape. And I like this character is so much of me in my 20s and part of my 30s. This character is so much of me. Like, even down to the fisticuffs. Like, I'm testing for my 6th degree black belt later this year. So when I tell you this is me, this is me. But also even down to being that fierce friend who cares about everyone, who cares about doing what's right, even if you don't do it the right way. Yeah. So, like, I care about right, but how we get to right, we just gonna do what it takes. But I love to see her growth. And there's a part in the 4th season where you think she's going to completely regress to her old ways, but then you see how she's really grown and transformed, and she's embracing the thought of becoming what she could be instead of being trapped by her past. It is very, that I'm not going to spoil, but yeah, she's such a cool character, and she's the one that made me want more from this series than just the Funkos. I want the Funkos because now I have a complete set. I'm real big on complete sets. Well, I guess if I had Badgie, I'd have the complete set, but I don't care about having Badgie. In my head, this is the set that I want, and I have them all now, which is great. But there is a figure that a coworker showed me. It is a little trash. It is a little, I think she's a 6.5 inch figure, and I forget the company that makes it. But I just showed it to my husband one day. He's like, look how great this figure is. Isn't she amazing? She shows up next month. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see her, but she's just going to sit on my desk. They made a Bradward as well, but I didn't really want him because this is my spirit animal right here. Like this, I can't believe they gave me a TV show and I'm not getting any royalties. I'm joking. But absolutely love this show. I cannot recommend Lower Decks enough. You want to talk about just a well done animation, well done adult cartoon. Good storytelling, great characters, beautifully drawn as well. Like you are with it, and they do a really good job of linking the stories between seasons and making you want to watch more. And where they left off in the 4th season, I cannot wait to see what they do in the 5th season. It's going to be pretty incredible. So yeah. Well, I've just set another big empty box to the side. That was fun for me. You know exactly where they're going to go. They go on the Funko wall. So the Funko wall's getting higher. So it's all good. We all have stuff that we love to collect. What am I going to do with all of this when I am no longer a part of this earth? That's my kid's problem. Not mine. I just gave you an inheritance. By the time I'm in the grave, you know how much some of this is going to be worth? So, yeah, these be ancient relics by then. You're welcome, future grandkids who may see this. I just put your house payment in my office for your down payment for your house. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I did too. Whew, I meant for this to be a quick video and we at half an hour. Homegirl can talk. But as usual, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.